Clarification. You know, Tautuna never said to the I totally agree with you by saying that we need to defend our diamonds. But at the same time, what are we trying to do to try and curb these synthetic diamonds in coming into Botswana, that at the end of the day, our consignment of diamonds that are going out, we are not selling them with these other diamonds. I think it's time that we need to come up with a model to make sure that these synthetic diamonds are not coming into our country and they are not being sold in the piles that we are busy selling from our stocks. Thank you, sir.
Mr. President.
The diamond is the synthetic, it's the natural. The code is so there's differentiation, which is what we struggled for. We've got it. So there's differentiation. But let me say this. I get like Ronaldi from Gomba Bagaruna. Lydia Parotota kana di dirisiwa tota tse go twengetsone. Jaanong bareki ba diamond ba ba tlhaetseng ba bana le madi your League of Billionaires ga ba reki synthetic. Le natural diamond, when they buy it, they want to know the story. Who are the people behind the stone? Where does it come from? How has it helped? What positive impact has it had? This is a story that has never been told in the marketing of our diamonds. The diamonds are not the diamonds are DBS. How Rabat or Botswana, the diamonds are Botswana, nobody knows. Now we are at a point where we are marketing Botswana diamonds as Botswana diamonds, because that has a very powerful story behind it. And it is what sells. Keneki Bolala Lucas. I can say that I'm going to get an moving Kilerics and the watch. Pomakwe. Kilebale Babanta, Reubatan. Kriani Kilebale watch. Oh, Muena, where do you receive he watch? When I hella, Pilagaro, little like it. Yeah, there is a Rolex, but oh. Who got us it harder? Me, when I must swim. Quan. How any hella moving kill yoga root low rega Rolex? Quanora who beats our root a quan with a rag. How he tell you living kill Eric's and the watch, Lekuba Bareki bar Renale Bareki Baru, Raba top. Rona ready ready watch deal 50,000 at any given time for any given line. Rolex by ready million, Rona ready. Kajal, who wrote there? When I man, Cababola, Kinnas Mamma, Kinnas Mam, Libalera, Libata, Samgalamogon. Waruta. Oh, okay, Yami, who? So, Seserai, the market is segmented. The natural diamond has its own discrete and insular market. We need to market this natural diamond for that market. Kuruswa regisa diamond ukaro regisa manyunyuma. Inali ka ha regisiwa nkate. Ke sone se batho ba khona go ema. Ba ntha ba re tsa rona di watch ha o sena na re go kwala gone ha re ra go amogela. O nna ngwaga tse pedi. O ile tetse. Ka gore ga se wena hela ba bantsi. Kere heba. Di kgwebo e khona go dirwa ya. Ba re right. Go a bona la gore di watch tse ke tsone tsa tlhwatlhwa di a rekwa di a ratwa di rekwa ke batho ba bana le madi. E bila ke ba go letela o reke tse pedi o reka ile ngwe. La o ka tswa o rwele madi jang. Ke bo ke re okay. Di diamond tsa rona ntse di sa bapatswe sentle. Jano ha re ka di tsela ra di ipapaletsa ra di ithekisetsa re bone ano re na le baitsana pe re na le buitsana re ka bo bata ko bolenteng. Rata go rekisa di diamond tsa rona tsa re busetsa hela jaaka go tshwanetse. Le rona ra dira mo go tweng OPEC. Go itse OPEC ya di oil re ira ya di diamond. Le gore ano market ra o laola, industry re tshwere, ra ne re letella, ra ne re bore dithatha di ya go godimo di laolwa ke rona price
Clarification, Honorable Lucas.
Ke a leboga Mr. Speaker. Ke tsa gore gongwe ka sa khele thata mo go ya ditemane mme ke batla hela go supa gore Kana ditema di gogile le bakale le dintsi di le teng. It's a luxury product. It dira luxury products. Kana gongwe re investa madi mo mineral wo lo go hetso tswa mo fashioneng. Ibilo ka ska thola o boela ke re ele thoko se mo sone se. Mit tota khaya me ha Mr. President. Kore na ke tsa as a country gompieno we are facing a liquidity challenge. Rang gore re palwa le go go duela batho ba re ba kolota re le puso. O no bua gone ha o bua gore commercial farmers ba kolota 400 million. O bua di koloto tse dingwe gape sa puso di ka tshwara 15 billion. Gone mo kana re tshwantse re go address with immediate effect. Me re dira jang ka seemo se seo Mr. President? Ka gore ke seemo se le gore se immediate se toka tharabololo e immediate. Me ha go utwe ke to ka re ke dikgantse o di thaganelang o di kgathegela. Me ya ke ne ka bua mo nako e hitileng. Gongwe ano nako e gore go le ya gore ba ba benefitileng thata mo pusong yone mo tsa mo lehatsheng le ba okeletswe threshold ya lekgetho gore tere nne le madi go tsa re kgethise thata ba ba amogela madi a hetang 100,000 wa go godimo go balwa le ba direla puso ba maemo le ba bangwe ba di parastatal ke re gore tere address the liquidity challenge because ha ke rana re le puso re kolota batho mo kana batho ba lose confidence le mo system ya la government le ya democracy le ya ditopo ha ile re ka tswella re kolota batho ka lebaka le le kana ke a leboga
Mr. President.
Era o bolela ruri dikoloto ke rile tsa dikoloto ba balemi ke BAM ke 400 million no 500 million actually tse dikolotwang hela service providers and contractors di gore go 15 billion ka ke bala le tsone tsa BAM go bona seemo se re mo go sone ha ke se seka-sekanna se bakilwe ke go tlhoka astute financial, not economic, financial experts. We now are at a point where we need financial engineers, people who will re-engineer this economy so that we are able to raise the capital that we need. How do we raise the capital? We need to, as best we can, first, we need to avoid borrowing for consumption and not for investment. Now, do we have the means to pay 15 billion as we sit here? No. Because we'd have to raise the revenue from taxes and from diamonds. Is that reasonably possible? Maybe not immediately. What do we need to do then? With the inflow of foreign direct investment that will solve some of the problems and create employment and broaden the tax base, we are on our way. That will then enable us, once we know what investment inflows we are looking at, the scale, the quantum, we are now able to then borrow to settle these debts in order to raise ourselves from these levels of debt. That's the first thing. The proposal that I made to Ministry of Finance was, go to every contractor who is owed and say to them, I'll go 200 million. I'll do settle like 150 in full and final settlement. Because then we will reduce the debt, but we will also afford to pay. And so this is what we are working on. Bridging capital to do what? To settle all these outstanding liabilities. And then on the back of the investment that we've attracted, we're signing some major agreements with the Omani Investment Authority in energy, in fuel, in many other areas. And I was saying in relation to agriculture, we now have a potential off-take agreement for agricultural produce from Botswana going into Oman. So that now we ramp up production, not for subsistence only, but to also create a surplus which we can then chill, process, agro-processing, and export. we have these opportunities. We have a vital, credible, solid partner in Oman, settled. And their people are on the ground as I speak. Yesterday, they were in Maung. The land on which we are putting up a 500 gig, maybe up to 1,000 megawatts, 1 gig, 500 megawatts of solar plus battery. Komau, Koletaka, and other areas. We're doing this. What will this do? This will enable, one, to raise our profile as a green economy and earn us carbon credits. That's money. We need to find sources of revenue for the country, away from diamonds, away from your traditional sources. The citizenship by investment program will raise us several millions, that is revenue coming in. Then we can pay off our debts. Many other initiatives that bring money to us. We also want to liberalize our airspace and let rich people, they have private jets. They will need to come and register them. They pay. We need to expand our airport so that they have their hangars there. They keep their aircraft there. We make money. Then they fly in our airspace. We must have technology that monetizes that. So we are now called upon to look for new sources of revenue so that we are not overly dependent on diamonds. But as I say, now we need to raise the capital to settle all these debts because Minister of Finance asio because deadline Christmas. I had made that very, very clear.
Clarification.
You see, because finance, they should be able to sort this problem out. It's not insurmountable.
Clarification. Clarification.
Clarification, Honorable. Who are you yielding to? Honorable Kawana.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Speaker. Can I carry Honda Posong way longer Hayarawe Seresente Aware? Can how one amoto Rekisa, Yaka, DBS, Gasola Laura Kiwana Baramba Rekisa. Kipotare, Lidirle, due diligence, or King have a Rekisa. By Tolam Matata, Kana, Kilonale, Kajaka, Kilonale Batan Horele, this is a cat. Pusong our Vedicore. Unowiaka carbon credit. For a mere number of certainly bankable carbon. Elor Kapana or trade a cow never. Ramadi Mansiba, Bakana or a wreck. Mr.
President.
My kids say, hello, Serena, Torella, monetize. All these wetlands, since we declare Okoboka, Vango, wetlands, that's carbon credits. Red, which we haven't benefited from. We need to do that. So the financial engineering I'm talking about is actually monetizing some of these resources that already are there, that have remained unutilized. So we have. But when we add the renewables into the mix, we will then raise the ante. Gore abarekisa ba tshaba mathata e ba tshaba mathata raiso e ba tshaba mathata a ba itiretseng ka tsamaiso ya bone khopo e re bone. Have we done due diligence? We've engaged the finest on the planet. Finest. But you also must be careful when you engage in this space. This industry is a mafia industry. So you need to be very careful about who you select to be your transaction advisors. Because but we've applied our minds thoroughly on this. And where we are now, remote leveling access to the data rooms. When information you but the model there's a lot of value leakage in the model that they have applied. So once we take over, the challenge for us is not taking over. The challenge is restructuring this thing to make it profitable, and it will be done. It can be done. The expertise is readily available. We have it around the table. So when we go to them, so in sejalo ne ke tsweletse ka ya go baakanya itsholelo gore re tlo patalisa gore re adime mme re adimela ha godimo ga go supa gore itsholelo ya rona re e godisa jang. There are a number of projects that are coming. So these are projects where we are not investing anything, rona. But the benefit to us is manifold. One, we will be energy sufficient, rona. Ga rena go thola re tamega gore re reke motlakase ko South Africa ka bo 3 billion every year. We save that 3 billion. That's money mo diateng tsa rona. A ke re ntse re reka re tsaya madi re a isa. Ha re thiba phatlheo madi ao ga a tswe yanong a nnaga ke santla sa bobedi ka gore le bone ba thaello ba ntse ba re rekisetsa ka gore go turu ebile go ba tlisetsa dipoelo tse di go godimo. Re tlo ba rekisetsa ka tsone ditlhwatlhwa tsone tseo. Re bole rona re tsaya 3 billion ko go bone jaanong ke gore ha godimo ga 3 billion re tla bo re mo save re tla bo re tsaya yo mongwe ko go bone be nna 6 billion re kgona go dira ditiro le go aga ditsela ko go reka pink ra ska ta ngwe re gata. So di kgantse ba ga rona di batla kelotlhoko e re dirang gore re kgone to monitor, to raise capital. Mme ke dumela gore mo nako e khutshwane bone ba re ba kolota ha re ka tsamaisa sentle ka thulaganyo ne ke e bua re tla kgona go ba duela. Ke thola ke utwa le le re bata dingwe ko dikgaolong tsa lona o bona ha gona le sengwe se ke batlang go se le thomamisetsa gone o bona nna ga ke wa thulaganyo ya gore o te go lla ha gore ga ke na tsela ga se thulaganyo e ke e eletsang go thelele ha gona le batho ko kgaolong tshwantse go nne le ditsela. That's the only consideration. Ha gona le batho o tshwantse go nne le ditamelo. Ga se mo re tlo nganga ha mongwe a tswere hale go gaisa yo mongwe a re o llela matshireletso o kila a lela tsela ya mookane tshwantse re bile re ibitse ka leina la gago e le gore mo National Development Plan ya bone madam Kraga ba ne ba ntsha o na tsamaya go thubega ka selo pele ga gaga ma lela ba tswa tsamaya o na bidiwa go tenya tsela ga gore ta e busetsa matshireletso. It's a true story ya mookane e ra e tanka mookane yana ya go galona. So ga ke rate le ka ta go lela go go nna. I don't want to insult your dignity in that manner. Ke batla mo dithabollo di kgonang go diragala. All we need to cajole our brains around is to raise the money. That's all. Once the money is there, ga gona re total re nganga ro mana ga gona ta bole itumetse lentse go dikgaololo a mainolo a ga reka pinga wa iron ka gore gona le high grade iron ore 40 km stretch go ene la o twa re thabollo gare re lole gore komponi ele re simolla a sa simolla re ta ntsha re tsenya e ka simolla re batla batho ba ile gore they are shovel ready, they want to move, and that will mean because na le principle ya from pit to port as a finished product, then we'll have to construct roads. Those roads will be self-sustaining. We can actually even toll those roads for trucks. So the ideas that are contained in the National Development Plan and the Botswana Economic Transformation Program are revolutionary in this manner. Right now, in relation to schools, I was signing a CAB memo where there has to be a special purpose vehicle that raises money off the government balance sheet. You understand? Because if we take the government balance sheet, rebaluna the debt, we run the risk of being downgraded. But if we create a separate vehicle that ring fences certain resources even from the schools, as school fees, wherever school fees are paid, and uses this as seed capital to go into the capital markets and raise money for the refurbishment of schools, the estimate says about 7 billion is needed. Because we're not going to refurbish your school. No. This refurbishment we're talking about a classroom of the now and the future. That speaks to an education system that recognizes that the school is a voice of the future, and that in every child there's a tongue-tied prophet. That's the kind of education we're talking about.
Clarification.
We have to invest in ensuring that the schools are not your. One of the questions we now want to teach these kids coding. We need to introduce infrastructure that enables them. And that is why the digitalization of education is key. It is critical. No, that system enables kids to be taught. The effect that thing is it will reduce paper, and it will save the Ministry of Education hundreds of millions of pula in photocopying and other materials. That's the first thing. The second thing, it will reduce the contact time between teacher and student by 4 hours every day. 4. Because you make teaching so efficient and so accessible. It will enable a parent to track. It will enable the school head to know. It will enable the ministry to know which school is underperforming and the kids are falling behind. That system is, and it's working in other countries. In addition to everything else, it will make the burden on the teacher so light. It will make teaching such an enjoyable profession. That's what we want. And there will be no downtime. Hey, system. We need to put data centers across. Data centers. Hyperscale data centers will enable the processing of data in a manner that removes at any point Mogoten system down. Never. That will be a thing of the past. But here's another dimension to data centers. They consume a lot of power. You do chat GPT, Lona. The amount of power you consume by clicking chat GPT is so high, very high. So what do you need? You need these electrons to flow. You need to have a lot of power. You are thinking about 2 gigawatts, 3. You should be talking 20 gigawatts. Because data centers require a lot of data, a lot of power. And when you give them power, you also need to back them up. At no point should there be mutakas. So we need to improve our transmission infrastructure, our generation infrastructure, our distribution, and procurement. So we're going to revolutionize the power, the energy space in the shortest time possible. You see, I have said, and I said this a long time ago,
Clarification.
a profession. Rekao get 30 minutes. 30 seconds. 30 seconds.
Clarification of Mapulang.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. President. From pit to pot. The processing at time. Because we are talking of generation employment. Because now I'm looking into manufacturing and processing remote center in Botswana. So I want you to
We are left with 6 minutes.
When I said pit to port, I said pit to port as a finished product. But here's the intricacy. Ko Surat, ko India, di tamane tsa rona di created 700,000 jobs. Ko Surat, ko India, cutters and polishers have such levels of skill and expertise in the art of cutting and polishing a diamond that for the amount of time that it takes us here, for the same amount of money, we produce 20 stones. They churn out 200 stones. Same amount of money, same amount of time. What is the issue here? Skills levels, efficiency, and productivity. Those are critical. So when we ask any investor to come here and create jobs, we need to have an architecture, an ecosystem that says, 100,000 of those smart cutters and polishers, but over a period, we acquire the same level of skill, if not higher. And then in the fullness of time, we can say, we can handle it. We must not put ourselves in a situation where we fail, and we fail immediately. Because this will require an outlay, investment. Can we do it? No. Who will do it? A foreign investor. What do they want? These high volumes. Do we have the capability? No. Let's bring the skills in here so that our people can understudy. And we'll do that across. Even substandard work, contract. We'll bring in world-class companies and pair them with our people and say to them, hey, in the next 5 years, we want our people to be at the same level of proficiency. Then so that they become mega companies dealing internationally, go with DRC and elsewhere. This is what we are looking at. You see, babega dikgang ha ba gakololwa ra bo re sa ba sole ra bo re ba gakollela gore melao e teng go na le mo go teng criminal defamation. The reason I keep suggesting to them they should stop what they are doing, this fake news, these falsehoods that tarnish people's reputations, impair their dignity and their fame, those things are criminal. There are provisions in the Penal Code ya Botswana. Section 192 of the Penal Code criminalizes defamation, criminal defamation. You can actually be taken to court and imprisoned for writing falsehoods about a person and tarnishing their reputation and their fame and their dignity. So when I say to them, stop this thing, I'm admonishing them because very soon they will end up in prison. And this matter arose in India. In India, there's a provision in their law, in their penal code, section 499, section 500 of the Indian Penal Code, criminal defamation. In all the Commonwealth jurisdictions, only criminal defamation. And criminal defamation says you publish something that is untrue with intent to harm the reputation of another. That's a criminal offense. So our journalists are committing crimes by the day. Le grammar. How can we say school ngata o kwala makambura? Aw, la rinto. La re bana ba leswe hela re ba tsentse school re ba rutile sekgoa. Bo bata go ikwala tsone di tse ba di kwalang re ba lese. We have a responsibility to admonish them and tell them write and write well so that we read. And I can give you an example. If you take a newspaper, if you do a weekend post, there's a guy there at the Obri Lute. That kid writes very well. Sometimes I don't like what he writes. I think it is not quite true, but I enjoy reading. He writes very, very well. And he's the only one wearing him. He's organized, he's logical. You might disagree, but Obri Lute is a journalist, quality. And his newspaper is always well structured. But that's not the point. Write well. Take yourself seriously. There's a craft. Lawyers take themselves seriously. You get in, they check, are you a fit and proper person? To stay in, you must stay fit and proper. If you are not fit and proper, they kick you out. To come back in, they will examine you. Journalists, you see an apology. Come on, so the same journalist apology. Has the person been struck off the register of journalists? No. So, we want our journalists to write. We want them to write well. We do not want them to defame anybody. Because if they do, they will be imprisoned. Section 192 all the way to section 199 of the Penal Code. They can be tried. So I'm helping them to avoid dilo. Thank you very much.